Okay, today we're going to do 4.3b, percent equations. So 4.3a, you had to set up your percents as proportions and solve. Today we're going to set them up as equations, and yes, you have to do it that way. Okay, so we're basically just translating words into equations. The key, and I want to apologize, my pen is not working well, so you're just going to have to bear with me here. So the important thing here is in a sentence, the is means equal, and of means times, okay? And we have to make percent into decimals, okay? So let's do some, my daughter's in here, you can hear her talking. So the first one is, what percent of 170 is 68? So we look at our of, that's going to be multiply, is equal. So you just write it right under. Where it says what percent, that's what we're looking for. That's the question. Okay, so that's our variable. So you can make it n or x or whatever you want. N of 170, so times, see my pen is not, 170 is, what baby? Awesome. Is 68. Okay, so again, I'm sorry for my pen. N times 170 equals 68. Okay, and then you just solve it from there. Since it's n times 170, we're going to divide by 170. My pen is driving me crazy. So 68 divided by 170, which I've already done in the calculator, it's going to give you 0.4. Okay, now remember, when we're dealing with decimals and percents, we're looking for the percent, so that means we have to move it over two places. This is the difference. This is why I like to do proportions, because it's already in a percent. Okay, you don't have to move it over, but we have to move it over two places, so this is really 40%. Okay, so that would be your answer. It would be 40%. Yes, you have to write it that way. Okay, what percent of 90 is 135? So on number 2, it's going to be a little different, the percent, because remember, percent can be over 100. Okay, it's out of 100, but it can be over 100. So again, it says what percent, so that's our variable. Of is multiply, oops, so times 90 is 135. I'm sorry, this pen is going to drive me crazy. Is 135. Okay, so n times 90 is 135. So then we're going to divide by 90. Divide by 90. Oh, this pen is driving me crazy. N equals, I will not use this again. N equals, so it's going to be 135 divided by 90 is actually 1.5. Okay, but you still have to move your decimal over two places. Okay, so it's going to be 150%. 150%. Okay, which is fine. You can do that. It's okay if it's over 100. We're going to do a few that are kind of weird like that. Okay, so number 3, what is 85% of 320? Okay, so this one's a little different because you're given the percent. But where it says what right here, that's our variable. So n is, so is equals 85%. Now you had to make that into a decimal, remember. 85.85. Remember, now we have to move it over to the left two places. Okay, 85%. The decimal is right here. We have to move it to the left two places when you make it into a decimal. Okay, remember that from way back. Okay, of, so times 320. Okay, so this one, the 0.85 and the 320 are on the same side, the equal sign, so you just multiply those together. Okay, so n equals 272. Oh my goodness, this pen. Okay, so 272, and you don't have to move the decimal because it's already there. You already moved it up here. And you have to see if it makes sense. What is 85% of 320? So you have to make sure it's less than 320. Okay, because 85% would be less. Okay. Let me make sure I get all the right things up here. Okay, 3 more examples. Whoops, I did not mean to do that. Okay. 393 is 60% of what number? So here's our question. That's what we're looking for. So that's going to be our N. Okay, so 393, I might have to erase that N because my pen is so messed up. Let me erase that real quick. Now the eraser works fine. It's only when I need to actually write. So 393 is, okay, so remember that's equals, and 60%, so you had to make that a decimal, 0.60, whoa, of what number? So times, remember of is times, and then our variable N. So again, this is just a one-step equation, okay, where we're going to divide by points, whoops, by 0.60, 0.60. Okay, so N equals, so 393, let me flip my page, divided by 0.6 is 655. Oh gosh. 655. So it says 393 is 60% of what number? So that number should be bigger. Sometimes you got to go back and read to see if it makes sense. Number 5, 105. So 105 is, so that's equals 125%. So if we move our decimal over, it's going to be 1.25 of what number? So of, and that's our question. So 105 is 125% of what number? So again, we're going to divide by 1.25. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. 1.25. I hope you're listening to this so you're not going by just what I'm writing. Okay, so then it's going to be 84, when you divide that in your calculator, 84 equals N, okay? Which makes sense because it says 105 is 125% of what number? So this number would be smaller because it's 125%, so it'd have to be bigger, okay? So if we move down here, does that actually says 0.13%. So that's a little tricky. So we still have to move this decimal to the left 2 places to make it, to get rid of the percentage. So 0.0013 of, so times what number is, so equals 3,900. So this is going to be a big number. That's a 9. 3,900. Okay, so again, we're on different sides of the equal sign. This is times, so we're going to divide this whole thing by 0.0013. Divide the other. What you do to one side, you have to do the other. 0.0013. So this is going to be a big number. 3,900 divided by 0.0013. That means how many times will this little bitty number go into that really big number? Okay, it'll go a lot. So, and it's actually, N equals 2,769,230.77. I will not be using this computer again for this. All these. This pen does just not work on here. Okay, so this is what N equals. Okay, so the biggest thing here is to remember that is equals and of is multiplication. That's the biggest thing you need to remember. Whoops. Just having all kinds of trouble here. There we go. Okay, and then I have a little comic. Okay, and then we're done.